What's up, jet setters? In today's video, I'm going to be switching up the format a little bit because I'm talking about my first time riding the Amtrak train in the California Zephyr. I've been preparing you as a future solo traveler with destinations that I think are solo friendly. We started with New York, then we went to Vegas, last week with San Francisco, and now we're going to talk about train travel. So I'm still going to go through, the activities, what I ate, accommodation. I was in coach class, and of course, how to get there. Let's get started. The California Zephyr is a 3-day, 51-hour trip. It goes from California to Illinois. That's west to east, what I did, or you can take it east to west from Chicago to Emeryville. When you are making your reservation, you're going to have different options. You can have coach class, business class. Business class is going to be the more expensive one. I went with coach class. The price was $150 for one way. That means I did not get the dining options. I don't have the roomette. I am just in the basic coach seat. There are ways that you can try to get a little bit of business class if you want to bid. Amtrak's website has bidding service where a few days before your trip, you can input the amount and see if they accept it. If it is accepted, they will let you know a couple days before, and then you can upgrade to business. My bid was turned down. You also can talk to the train staff, I was about to say in flight, but on the train, and you can just say, oh, how much would it be to upgrade to business class? For me, I did not think the price was worth it. I think it was about $180, maybe $200 for me to go to business class, not even for the duration of the trip. I think it was day 2. And so I would have been on there for about 8 hours. He said he would have had to wake me up around 2 a.m. and then I have to walk all the way back to coach class, which was pointless to me. Like most people, they say the roomette experience is great. I don't know about that yet. Hopefully in the future, Amtrak, y'all sponsor me. And maybe I can tell you guys how the roomette would be. But in this video, we're just talking about coach. 3 days, 51 hours. Can you do it? If you're in coach class, what are you going to do if there are no showers? Remember, if you have the business class ticket, you have a room and you have a shower. The way I saw it, Friday is when I boarded the train at Emeryville. That morning, I took a shower at the hostel before I checked out. Saturday was the only day where I did not have a shower, and they do have like a changing room where you can wash up. It kind of reminds me like an airplane bathroom. I'll show you that here. And then Sunday is when I arrived to Chicago. Thankfully, by some really nice people that were on the train, I was able to access the Amtrak Metropolitan Lounge. Friday I had a shower, and Sunday I did have showers. Now Saturday, that was the whole bath. You just wash up in the sink, get your bits together and all that. California Zephyr Route covers about 2,500 miles. You're going to cross 7 states. If the train is on schedule, it's going to be about 51 hours. Our train was not on schedule. We were stuck on the tracks for about 2 hours. So we didn't pull up into Chicago until about 5 p.m. on that Sunday. I think we were supposed to get there at 3. Remember, Amtrak doesn't own the track. Once another freight train comes, we just have to sit there and let them pass by. The train travels through the scenic Rocky Mountains. You want to make sure that you are awake. That is some of the best views. Go early to get your seat in the observation car. You might be wondering, well, when is the best time to ride the train? Well, it really depends. Based on the season, your scenery is going to be different. I went during the fall. It was September. The weather was very good. Remember, in California, I was talking about how beautiful and breezy it was. And I was able to get really good views during that time from California to Illinois. Of course, if you're going in the winter, you're going to be able to see the snow-capped mountains. I'm sure that's fantastic too. Summer, June to August, you're going to have the longest hours in the day, so that would be ideal as well. I don't really think you can go wrong with a time. However, the delays can be frustrating. Based on weather conditions, that can even be delayed further, so keep that in mind. As I said, I think the Zephyr offers great views in both directions. I went from west to east. And if you are going to be choosing your seat, remember it's a double decker. You have both levels. I think either level is fine. It's just your preference. For me, I was on the bottom because I was going back and forth from the observation car to my seat. If you sit on the right side, you can get good views. If you sit on the left, if you're coming from Chicago, people say that's the best to sit also. Going in the observation car, you can sit on either side and it's going to be amazing. Now let's talk about how to get to the Amtrak station in Emeryville. I was already in San Francisco for a couple of days. I went to Ross before the trip. I needed to get a blanket because I heard that the train is freezing cold, and I needed to go to Trader Joe's so I could pick up some snacks and food because I'm vegetarian. I did not have the dining option because I didn't have the roomette, and I did not want to go hungry. So I had to do those things prior to my trip. Another advantage when you are on the train is that you don't have to worry about going through security. You can bring bags, items. There's nobody checking you at the gate or before you board to say, oh, you have too much. Now, I think they do get a luggage allowance. Remember, I only had a backpack, so I did have the bag that had my blanket in it. I had a Trader Joe's bag with food. I had another bag. I just had a bunch of bags. To get to Emeryville, you're going to either fly in directly to SFO Airport. From there, you can take an Uber, a taxi, or you can do the BART. Remember, I gave you information on that in the previous video so that you can get to the Emeryville station. I was trying to take the bus, but I was running late. I had gone to the Hyatt to eat a big meal because I wanted to be full before I boarded the train. Also, the train departs probably once a day in either direction. So it's not like, oh, if I'm late, I can catch the next one. No, it's not going to happen. Mine left promptly at 9:10 a.m. on that Friday. Make sure that you get there a little bit ahead of time just in case. With me, I was cutting it close because I ended up getting to the bus station like at 8:30. Train was pulling out at 9:10. Got an Uber, got to Emeryville from Union Square. It was very short. You just crossing the bridge, and got there about 8:50. So that's still enough time. I had 20 minutes to put my things down, take pictures of the scenery for you guys, and get the excitement going. Like, people were noticing that it was my first time. I was the only person out there too. So everybody was happy for me. They were taking my picture because I was just telling everybody, I am so excited to be going on this train. So I did my little videos, shot the content, and picked my bags up. It was about 9:07 by I finished all of that, and the train was pulling up, and we were on our way at 9:10. Be on time. The train is not going to wait for you. Once we leave Emeryville, the route is going to take us through the Benicia Bridge. I hope I'm saying that right. And we were on there for a while, and we had a first stop at Sacramento. That stop is for 20 minutes. When you are there, the conductor is going to make the announcements. Make sure you are listening. They give you a few minutes to stop, stretch your legs. Some people like to take a smoke, whatever, but you need to be back on board before that time, because once they pull out, that's it. Like, you can't be chasing a train talking about, oh no, it took too long. That's not how it works. I had already been on the train for a couple of hours. I think it was about 11 a.m. So I didn't really need to stretch that long. And I was already tired because I had woken up early to go to the Hyatt. Amtrak has gone through a lot of remodels for the Superliners. That's the Zephyr, the Empire Builder. You're going to see different sections of the train. Where I first was seated, the seats were old. I was in the old car, you guys. My seats were dated. I was sending pictures of people. They were like, ugh, this is your experience. But later I was able to move on to the modern updated seats that have 51-inch pitch, which is double the amount if you were going to be on any US plane flying. So that is an advantage. I like they have the pull down trays. You can have your meal, your food, and there's ample space above you to put your bags. If you can get a whole row, that's great because you have the seat next to you to put your things and you can just enjoy. Me, like I said, I was going back and forth because I met someone. We're just going to call him Train Bay. This was about, I guess, an hour after the Sacramento stop. And I just hung out with him the rest of the trip. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to find a Train Bay. That was very unexpected. It was really good to be able to socialize and meet so many people. I met him in the observation cart with another person. His name is Mr. Amtrak. This guy was super interesting because he has traveled basically all of Amtrak's routes. Let me see if I can show you his picture. He's like a Amtrak train star, superstar. He was wearing a shirt that said he's Mr. Amtrak. People were shaking his hand and talking to him. So that was kind of cool, and I found that fascinating. Talking to him, I met Train Bay, and I was like, oh, okay, Train Bay, what's up with you? Basically, the hangout spot is the observation cart. Even people who are in the roomettes, because the roomettes, at least what they told me, was they feel kind of constricted. It's small and tiny, especially if you're a couple. So everybody wants to come and get that space because you have that panoramic view. If I was trying to get some nap back in coach class, I would just tell Train Bay, hey, you know, save us some seats, I'm coming later. He would come back to coach and be like, are you all right? And you just want to have that system going. I met the Amish in the observation car. They were playing cards. Like, it's a really good way for you to socialize. You don't have to. I saw people sitting at their own table, had their AirPods in, jotting down notes, staring out the window. It's really what you are comfortable with. In the dining cart, that people, they sit you with other passengers. So that's kind of cool. You get to talk to them too. With Train Bay, as soon as I met him, like, he was buying me food, wine, we were just chilling. And even when we went to the stops where you go buy food, he was saying, do I want snacks, whatever. I was like, oh, is this a thing on the train? I wanted to see his room, but look, the train staff has rules, and one of them is you are not supposed to go past your class. So I appreciate him staying with me in the observation car because, of course, he went there to sleep and whatnot, but we actually had to get someone off the train. I don't know what the situation was. Either they were mouthing back to train staff or something. We pulled up at a stop and they didn't literally throw him off the train, but he was on there no more. Imagine you bought your ticket to go across all these states and you're dropped off some random place in Utah because you were mouthing it off. Do not mess with the train staff. Here you're looking at views from the Tahoe National Forest. I wish they had cleaned the windows. I don't know how often they do that on a train. Anybody let me know in the comments. If you're filming, just be ready to just be in awe. Like, I'm seeing all these postcard pics. It was fantastic. On the first day, of course, we're going through Emeryville. We go through the Sierra Nevada mountains, the Donner Pass. There's Utah and Nevada deserts and plateaus. You can get sleep in. For me, I was not able to sleep that well, only because I was in the coach seat at night. They have those LED lights on. I don't know. It's just a very bright light. I was not able to sleep well on the train. It was cold too. Like, for me, I needed to be pitch black. You also want to wear warm clothing because of that. I like to be wrapped up in warm clothes and then have my blanket. I just couldn't fall asleep. And if I did, it wasn't like good, deep REM sleep. You know what I mean? It was like, a quick little nap and then I wake up. These are the safety tips that you're going to need if you are going to be on the California Zephyr. You want to keep an eye on your belongings. You can put your heaviest bags above you in the overhead rack and try to get a row where it's just you and nobody sitting next to you. With an empty row, you have more space for your belongings. With me, I had my bag of food on one side of the seat, and I think I also put my backpack and other heavy bags on top. And then, of course, I had my free seat. It's very cold on the train, so I like to wear long sleeves, maybe a light sweater, cardigan, something of that nature. And then I have a blanket to put over me as well. Some people, I would see you wear hoodies. That way you have something over your head that might make you feel better suited for sleep. And of course, you want to have your AirPods, earplugs, and or mask. Listen to the crew. They are there for our safety. If there is an emergency, keep an eye out for the exits so that you know where to go. And of course, they will inform you. If you have a concern or complaint, you want to alert the staff and they can help you. And feel free to tip them too. Long train rides are actually a great time for you to unwind and relax. Some activities that you can do would be to find a train bay who's going to wine and dine you. Of course, you could also bring a book, have your movies and TV shows downloaded already on your devices so that it'll be easy for you to just plug in and play. The Wi-Fi there, it's not the best. If it is existent at all. I'm trying to remember if I had any Wi-Fi service on my phone. You can bring puzzles, adult coloring books. If you are feeling social, you can always go to the observation cart, talk to your seatmate that's next to you. Talking is good for these types of long distance journeys. Getting around the train is easy as well. They have the doors in between the carts. You can easily open them with your foot or push the button with your hand. And you want to make sure that you are, looking down so that you can cross carefully. The Superliners, they have both levels, so just be mindful when you're going up and down the stairs so that you're not crashing head on into someone else that's crossing the same path as you. When you are boarding, make sure to watch your step. The steps can be kind of high from ground level, and I think they can lower them too. So always watch your steps. Train travel isn't always just about the journey. It can be about the food. And with the Amtrak California Zephyr Superliner, you're going to have a variety of options. Now, if you have the roomette, you are going to have traditional dining included. That's where you get to go to the special dining cart. They have a tablecloth with, all the fancy cutlery. You are able to dine with other guests. Everybody says that the steak dinner is the best option. I wouldn't know. I was in coach and I don't eat meat, but this is what was told to me. And you also have, I believe they had good breakfast options too. You can also get more casual, light snacks from the cafe car. I believe they have vegetarian chili. I can't not remember, but just your basic chips, cheese, crackers, candy, stuff like that. And feel free, if you can time it right, to eat locally. I highly recommend Denver Union Station, Chicago. You're going to be able to get some great food options there. Ask for them to give it to you to go, and then you can eat it back on the train. I mentioned that they have the cafe car with snacks, but really that's not going to be enough to suffice. The only full meal I really had was Friday before boarding the train. I went to Grand Hyatt. They were offering their breakfast. At that time, it was $35. I think it's gone up to over $40. And I had an exquisite breakfast there. I filled up, I had an omelet, pastries, fruit, and I was able to eat my fill before getting on the train. I really didn't need to eat heavy again until the next day, which is when I planned to get to a restaurant. It was just fast food joint from Denver. I know Denver has good food. I've been to that station before. I knew the layout and I knew that I had enough time. We were there about 35 minutes to go to Illegal Pete's, pick up my food, and then get back to the train. When I was in line, thankfully, this was Saturday evening, it wasn't that many people in there. I was talking to them and telling them I'm on my quick break on the California Zephyr, and was explaining this is my first time, how excited I was. And they ended up giving me the food on the house. Thank you for the vegan green chili bowl. Sorry for the picture. It's not that clear. And that's what I ate there. Of course, I also had snacks, fruit. I always bring those oatmeal packs. Y'all have heard me talk about those before. And I just go to the cafe car to get hot water. The cafe car is not going to heat up food for you. At least when I was on there, they just aren't going to do that. So that's what I ended up eating. Some people like to sit on one side so they can see all the stunning views of California, while others want to prep themselves for the gorgeous Colorado River, the Rocky Mountains. So again, listen to your crew's announcements. They will tell you when it's time to prepare and which side is going to be better. In the observation cart during the Colorado section, I think either side is great. Like, it's fantastic. I also enjoyed the Nebraska Prairie. Wide open spaces. Who remembers Dixie Chicks? That was really, really, really great and vast to me. Me being born in Lincoln, that was a highlight of the trip too. Now, someone said sit all the way in the back of the train if you prefer quiet, not that much noise. I would recommend that you just go to the quiet car. They do have a quiet car that is reserved for those passengers that just want to sit and enjoy the views in silence. There, you want to be respectful of the rules. And it was a small space. Keep an eye out on these views on the route, particularly if you're going west to east. That's Emeryville, to Chicago. The journey starts out with views of the Sierra Mountains. You've heard me say Colorado so many times. You're going to see Glenwood Canyon's dramatic rock formations, the Colorado River. The train is going to pass through the Rockies. You're going to get the best views, you guys. Like, you cannot go to sleep during this time. There's also a 6-mile tunnel, the Moffett Tunnel. Cannot imagine how they were able to build this. On the river, you're going to see some U.S. citizens in their bare bums giving you a view. That's right, they're going to moon you. Keep an eye out on that. I wasn't trying to see it, but people were like, look, look, they're mooning. I'm like, oh, great. I see the pale bums. Then, you have Byers Canyon, of course, the Denver skyline. That's exciting because that means it's time for me to eat some good veggie food at Union Station, or outside if you're feeling like you can beat the clock. Nebraska prairies is a delight, seeing all of the open wide landscapes there. And it's a contrast to all of the mountains that you've previously seen. Crossing the Mississippi River, and lastly, looking upon that lovely Chicago skyline, which means you've reached the end of your trip, the end of your journey. I was waiting for that, especially after we were stalled for a couple of hours on the train. During this journey, you have the opportunity to enjoy the views from the observation cars, socialize with fellow travelers, even try to catch some Z's in your coach seat. Please don't forget to pack your entertainment, your snacks, eye masks, skincare, whatever you need to help you feel more relaxed and restful on this journey. Don't forget comfortable clothing. Bring a blanket. This train trip on the California Zephyr is the best in the U.S., in my opinion. It's a very unique and memorable way to see the great old USA. The West Coast to the Rocky Mountains, the Midwest Plains, and of course the Heartland. And this is your guide to solo travel on the Amtrak California Zephyr. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you have traveled on the Amtrak Superliner before, comment below. I want to see which route is the best, which ones you enjoyed, any other tips. Did you have a train babe? Just let me know. We are wrapping up our US destinations, and let's get through the next couple of weeks, and I will see you soon.